Did I do the entire recap without turning on the studio and the microphone and the everything? Hello, Richard. Please tell me I didn't just do that. I sure did. Well, ain't that grand. Hello, Spencer. Hello, Richard. I did not realize that I had not turned on the streaming. It's nice to see you as well. It just started streaming it. Well, let me tell my friend here what I just did. All right. Thanks, Holden. Have a good stream. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the recap for Wednesday, December the 7th. My name is John. Thanks for trusting me with your time. I did not realize I just did the entire recap, about 20 minutes of it, and I never turned on the mic, the everything, never turned on the studio. I did the whole recap, and nobody was even here to see it. I was like, it seems a little kind of quiet here and lonely, but we're here now. So, well, the equities finally find a hangover a day, find a way to find some balance. S&P's closed unofficially down 8 points, about 2.2%. NASDAQ down approximately 55 points, 0.5%. And the Dow down approximately 4 ticks, approximately 0%. We still have crude oil slick sliding to the downside, down 224 today, or 3.02% at 72.01, getting pretty close to that level that the president, the White House says we're going to start refilling the petroleum, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. As far as other things that we've got to be paying attention to, the the Bank of Canada raised their interest rates 50 basis points. They said they're considering the need for additional hikes to combat inflation, of course. About 9:10 Central Time, Putin was quoted as saying the threat of nuclear war is increasing and that Russia views nuclear weapons as a response to an attack. Let's hope and pray that that doesn't happen. This just is insane. It can't happen, and I'm really praying that it won't happen. Now he's done a full rehearsal. Thank you, Holden. Thank you very much. And it's, this was all on me, folks. It wasn't the gremlins. This time, this was my fault. I don't know what I pushed, but all of a sudden, I'm looking and there's nobody around, and, well, let's see what happens. All right. Anyways, it's good to see everyone. George, Lacey says hello. Vince, thank you for the treat for Lacey. She's going to be happy to munch on that. Haggle matters. Spencer, these range-bound days can be tough. A lot of folks like the breakout trades, the trending days. These range-bound days I used to call cash register days. Cash register days. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. Bear goes long. You need to work on my balance days. Don't we all? Spencer, good to see you. Richard, just started. Nicole, Bear goes long. What you just do? Nicole, Richard, Holden, thank you very much. Richard and Haggle. Yeah, okay. All right. Lacey's saying hello to everybody. There's probably a dog walking by out in front or something. It gets her a little bit upset. Lacey, easy girl, easy, good girl. I gave myself a little bit of a chuckle when I put the Crude slides in the title of the recap today. So sometimes I just think funny things. Here's Lacey. She's back over here now. She's like, why is there a dog out there and I'm not out there? She thinks she's the center of the universe. So what happened in the markets today? We'll go ahead and take a look at these charts and see what we see, and take a look at what it's like to trade a range-bound market. It is something that many people struggle with, something that, I've kind of been good at, not good at. Things kind of come and go. Lacey, easy. Easy, girl, easy. Let's start with the crude oil. All right. So losing 500 in open interest yesterday, approximately. What did we do? We added 26,000 the day before. A little bit higher volume yesterday. The downside auction certainly seems to be intact and holding relatively well to the downside. We've got lower highs. Now we've got some lower lows. We're at a close we haven't seen since 2021. Again, I think we may see some support down here at 70 if the White House does decide to refill the strategic petroleum reserve at that level. Take a look at the 30-minute. We talked about last week's low as being somewhat pivotal. It wasn't. We opened in range and in value. Once the EIA petroleum status report came out, which, surprising, it was higher than expected. Okay, we're looking for 2.2 is 6 million barrel boost in crude stocks. We are seeing the market moving in the fundamental direction that it should. Don't see that very often in crude oil. Seems like the market goes the opposite direction of what the fundamental information from the EIA is saying. So we've got some continuation, value moving lower, relatively organized move to the downside. We've checked yesterday's point of control. We have not yet checked the point of control from Monday. But we're now possibly in a continuation market state. Not going to focus on that until it becomes important. Here's the S&Ps. All right. So we had a little bit of a pickup in volume yesterday. Volume's a little bit lower today. We lost 12,000 in open interest. So instead of a new business move to the downside, it's an old business correction. Well, one of the nice things we had today was the ability to take a few opportunities at weekly kickoff low from the other direction. Here's the 30. So this morning on the forecast, one of the things that I was kind of mentioning with a little bit of a hint to it was I would really love the opportunity for an execution at weekly kickoff low, 39.54. Well, we got our opportunity 3 to 4 times up there. There was a little bit of risk involved. It actually got me a little bit long up here thinking we were going to reject below, but it was cheap enough to where I was able to take a small loss on that and then get back to the right side again for the move to the downside. Make Hogue money, we just looked at this range-bound day, found a spot down here near the low, and just took a 2-to-1 trade back towards the point of control. Here's the day. What did we do? We opened. We traded to value high from yesterday. Then we traded to I think we traded to value low from yesterday first. We rotated back higher. We traded to value high from yesterday. And then we just rotated. If you find that you're in a situation that you believe that the market is range bound, it gives you opportunity to look for cheap trades at the extremes, looking for reversion trades. We look to buy below value because it's cheap. We look to sell above value if it does get cheap enough. And we just look for opportunities for the market to rotate back to point of control, maybe back to the low value from the session. These can be cash register days because you had 4 opportunities to sell at or above, well, 3 opportunities. One was a little bit short at weekly kickoff low, which has presented as resistance. So if we took one, we had a nice move. We took another one, we had a little bit of a move. We took a third one, we had another nice move to the downside. And again, in Make Whole Money, we looked at I think we bought it at 26 half. 26 half, 26.50, right there. We had that much risk, whatever that was. Our goal was to get back to point of control, which was here. We're better than 2-to-1 risk reward over risk. We almost got there. I usually get out of trades a little short of where I think the market's going to go. Thank you, Richard. Have a good night. And then the market just kind of rotated and closed. I was really hoping maybe we could get the opportunity to get out of that long at TPO point of control. Would have been a much better trade, but we had to get out. We had an issue today, so we had to cut Make Whole Money short, and I do apologize about that. But we've got tomorrow morning to look for more opportunities, and I see my brother Randolph is here. Good afternoon, Randolph. NASDAQ, similar but different. Okay, we are potentially bearing into a change in market state, but overall, we're still basically in range-bound territory. We are in possible market state change on the daily in S&Ps, but we're still range-bound in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ actually added open interest yesterday, so it appears that there are some new sellers coming into this market. If they continue to come in, we can see this market continue to move lower. But so far in the S&Ps, I'm not real pleased with the downside auction. I'm a little more pleased with the downside auction in the NASDAQ. Volume was okay. It wasn't great. Markets usually bring in a lot more volume when the market is tanking. Gold, we had a pretty decent opportunity. We are at the lower extreme of balance. What's the balance rules? We buy the lower extreme, we sell the upper extreme. We didn't get the chance in regular trading hours. However, the opening range was left at the low of the session today. It never came back and took it out. Came back almost halfway. It was a pretty large opening range, which makes it inhibitive to try and take. But I had a suspicion there was something going on and there was a decent opportunity in crude, and it ended up being back to the upside. Got another opportunity right down here. If we could have taken it, it would have been a tough trade to take, but boy, it sure would have been cheap. What's that look like on the TPO chart? Boom. Not very strong. A period. B period. I think we actually, the 720 open, we had a little bit more space down here. The 720 open was down here. The euro. What did the dollar do today? Kind of continued to kind of leak to the downside and kind of go flatlined. Here's the euro. We had a potential breakout of a bull flag here, and because the dollar went flatlined, so did the euro. Last week's high right here. That put in the regular trading hour session high. That was probably the best opportunity and best trade location of the day for that. And what happened here in the 10-year? We got a nice break. We went from 3.5 to 3.425 right now in the Treasury. So we had a drop in the rates. If you remember this morning on the market forecast, we said we have a late spike here in the Treasuries. Market opens, looks down below the late spike, and then finds buyers and just continues to push higher. Never doubt the late spike, man. I've learned that a million times. That doesn't work every time, but it's so important to just keep it in mind on the days when when there's an effect. There was maybe a little bit of a hint of what happened today in that late spike. Here's the natural gas, little bullish engulfing pattern going on here. Here's the 30. A lot of repair today in the natural gas. The market opened and traded through the point of control from yesterday down to the value low. Turns around, comes all the way back up to the point of control from the day before. Overnight, spent a lot of time where this hole is in the profile here. A lot of repair today. A lot of repair. Cleaned up 2 naked points of control in the process. Interesting. These markets are always fascinating. Always fascinating. Shooty. Well, it's never an exact science to determine new sellers and new buyers, but when price moves one direction through a session, and we add open interest, we can then assume that the buyers were in control on that move to the upside. Therefore, with an increase in open interest, we can expect that to be new buyers. If price goes up higher throughout a session and we lose open interest, that can be viewed as short covering. Shorts have to buy in order to liquidate their positions. Keep coming, Shooty. There's lots of good information here, and make sure that you check out the group coaching and all the other stuff we have here. All right. This day in history, I'm sure we're all well aware. It's Pearl Harbor Day. Say a prayer to all those who lost their lives that day, who lost their lives at the altar of our freedom, if you will, and to all of those that are continuing to fight to protect our freedoms. This is also a kind of important day in the Union. 1787, Delaware becomes the first state to ratify the Constitution. And as far as music is concerned, all kinds of things happen with the Beatles and Mariah Carey and all kinds of stuff. Most important thing on this site that I see is today is the birthday of Harry Chapin. Harry Chapin is a singer-songwriter, Cats in the Cradle. Lots of great vision, painting pictures with his voice and his guitar. Wonderful, wonderful artist. Unfortunately, no longer with us. Died way too young. But he still has a foundation in Long Island, New York, that is still paying to fight hunger in the New York area, I guess it is. Still sharing his gifts with everybody that way. So anyways, that's it. Tomorrow morning is the market forecast. We do have Make Hogue Money, the morning session tomorrow. Hopefully that will be an exciting one. And at the end of the day tomorrow, we do have the podcast with Jack and Dan. And we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Get some rest. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Say a prayer for peace, please. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful night.